Hey everybody, Ron here. Free League is doing new starter sets for the One Ring RPG and Lord of the Rings RPG. Also, I've noticed that other games are doing various D20 system versions. I mean, this is a thing that is old as time, right? But it really got me to thinking again. Why do people like to use the same system for everything? It's like that Frank's Red Hot series of commercials. I put that stuff on everything. It's like D20 system, I use that system for everything. Why is that? What brings that about? Why do we want to do that as GMs, as players? And we're going to talk about that here. I've come up with two reasons. This is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, but there are two main reasons that I see that people like to use the same system for everything. Number one is ease of play for the players. It can be hard for you to get players to read the rule book. People are busy, they have families, they have jobs, they have other obligations. Now, you can say, hey, if this game is important to you, then you will take the time to read the rules. I do agree with that. But I'm talking about this not on what an aspirational thing, but just with reality. Because if you're going to limit yourself, only people that read the rule book, you're going to narrow your play pool even more. We have enough things that narrow our player pool as it is without adding this one additional thing on top of it. Now, I would prefer for players to read a rule book. If I'm running something in a different system and say, hey, please at least know the basic rules of the system. But sometimes I don't fight with that. Like, I don't want to fight against people's lack of time to read new rules. So what do you do about that? Go with what you know. Obviously, the 5e system is out there. It's been there since 2014. There's so many different games out there. There's superhero games, there's sci-fi games. Of course, there's plenty of different flavors of fantasy games. There is like post-apocalyptic games. There's all kinds of games based on the D20 system, and in particular, 5e. Just Google 5e system and just insert any genre that you want, and I guarantee you will find something. As a matter of fact, one of the most popular alternate genre 5e systems that I've seen out there, and this is 100% a fan system, is Star Wars 5e. It's a thing. It is well produced and it has been supported for years. So there are people out there doing it. Everyday Heroes, one of my favorite systems, is a modern version of 5e. Of course, this is a spiritual successor to D20 Modern, but it's out there. And those are just a couple of examples. It is easy for me to tell the players, okay, well, you still have your 6 ability scores, your proficiency bonuses, you're rolling a d20, trying to hit a target, you have hit points, armor class, all that kind of stuff. Here are the differences between this and base 5e d20 fantasy. For me as a GM, it makes it easier to prepare games. So that's the second reason, ease of play for the game master. The game master has the most work of any players in the play group because they're the ones coming up with the adventures and scenarios. Oftentimes, they're the ones scheduling the games and scheduling the campaigns and dealing with a lot of the other logistics. So, rule system is just one less thing to worry about if you know that you're going to be using the Year Zero engine or the D20 system or anything like that. GURPS, of course. GURPS is built around, hey, you can play any genre you want using this single system. Do I like that? Yeah, sometimes I want that. As a matter of fact, when I got into the previous edition of the D20 Middle-earth role-playing game, it was Adventures of Middle-earth when Cubicle 7 had it, and that's what got me in instead of playing the One Ring first edition, which is an excellent system. Now, I play and prefer the One Ring second edition, in part because it's streamlined, but also I just gave the system a chance and really fell in love with it, feeling like it emulated the Lord of the Rings Middle-earth more than the D20 system does. But there are other people that are more interested in the D20 version of the current Middle-earth game, which is Lord of the Rings, the RPG. Free League has had much success with their 5e version. The owner of Free League has mentioned that version has outsold the One Ring second edition significantly. So it's no wonder why they're doing it, right? I mean, they have a wider audience, and for companies, they need to make money. So this was something that was pretty obvious for them to do, and now they're doing it, and people are loving it. For me, I would love for those people to eventually come over to the One Ring Second Editions to increase that player pool. But Free League is doing what they need to do. Other companies, do this same thing, right? You have Fate, you have Index Card RPG, you have GURPS. These systems are printed and designed for general use. So you can run your superhero game, your fantasy game, your sci-fi game. ICRPG has some great settings in there. It's a popular system on the internet and everything like that. So companies really like to do this because they know that people's time is valuable to them, and they would just rather play a system that they can master in multiple genres than just play a game for each different genre. Why do you not want to do this? I mentioned this before, but the first reason is the system does not fit the setting accurately enough, or there's a lack of verisimilitude. Free League does a good job with Lord of the Rings RPG, and then previously the Adventures of the Middle-earth. But still, when I'm playing those D20 games, there is a different feel to them. Like Adventures of Middle-earth felt less deadly than the One Ring, or I never played the One Ring First Edition, so just based on anecdote. But the Lord of the Rings RPG and the One Ring Second Edition, of which I played both, the Lord of the Rings RPG, it's just less deadly. It's harder to take down people in the Lord of the Rings RPG, in my experience, as opposed to the One Ring Second Edition. The D20 rules, something about them are just missing. And of course, this is my channel. I'm stating my opinions. If you feel differently, then feel free to comment below and we can have a discussion about it. The other major reason for why not to use the same system for all kinds of games is it's boring. Familiarity breeds contempt. If I'm playing the same game over and over and over again, eventually it can take the joy out of playing a different setting. It can take the magic out of it. I keep on going back to this example. If I'm using the D20 system for Lord of the Rings RPG, and I'm already a 5e veteran, in a lot of ways, it just feels like the same game. And for me, the Lord of the Rings, the Middle-earth setting has to feel magical. And if I'm rolling D20s and I'm rolling these polyhedral dice for damage and all that kind of stuff, I feel like I just basically took D&D 5e and just took the spell system out of it. And it's basically the same game. And that can be not fun on some level. That's the thing to watch out for. Now, in my experience, where do I fall? I fall somewhere in the middle. For example, Easy D6. The original game is a fantasy game, and now I got Wasted World out there, the post-apocalyptic game. But my favorite iterations of Easy D6 are like Assignment Danger by Bruce Bolin, shout out to Bruce, and Grimwood City, an urban fantasy game, neither of which are the original fantasy game. Because I feel like Easy D6 is very flexible, and I'm willing to use it for a lot of different things. But on the other hand, if you haven't figured out, I really love the One Ring Second Edition. For that setting, I need a system that really cranks it up and optimizes it. I'm sure there's other examples that I can think of, but nothing off the top of my head. Anyway, those are some thoughts that I have on this concept of using a game system for like every setting that you want to run and have you. What are your thoughts about this topic? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for listening, and until next time, see you later.